So wall sheathing seems easy enough to install, but there's definitely a few things that you definitely do not want to get wrong. First of all, what thickness sheathing do you need? And then what size nail are you supposed to use to fasten this sheathing? And then what nailing pattern are you supposed to respect when installing the sheathing? As well as what kind of spacing do you need to respect between panels? And do you need to block the ends of the panels, or can you leave them unblocked? So those are some of the questions I'm gonna answer today because they're pretty important and you definitely want to know about this. So let's go. I spent yesterday, Christmas Day, believe it or not, an hour and a half moving the 1/2-inch plywood that I'm sitting on, as well as the wood for the next wall. And you may be wondering, well, why would you spend time on Christmas Day doing this? Ho, ho, ho. Well, to me, I mean, this project, you see me building a cabin, but this is so much bigger than just building a cabin. You know, I have to put a lot of work up front. You know, building this cabin, it's difficult, it's time consuming, but when this is going to be done and I'm going to be able to rent it, I mean, this is going to provide me with a lifetime income stream that I'm going to be able to use for my family, which is going to offer us more flexibility in life, more time. So this is the end goal. And so this is what really truly keeps me motivated, even when it's, you know, 30 degrees outside and it's cold. And so that's the same for you. If you're really trying to, you know, follow in my footsteps and build a cabin, you better make sure that you have a deep-seated motivation behind it. And now we're gonna go back to making some progress. So here's what I wanted to show you. So, you know, you see what we're looking at? It's the wall laying down. I want the sheathing to go all the way and cover all the way down to here, because I want the same thing. When I'm gonna do this wall here, it's really that it's gonna strengthen the wall like a lot. Because if you overlap the sheathing all the way to here, I'm gonna be able to nail it all the way on the rim beam and on the girder below. So it's gonna make for like an extremely strong assembly. And then I just like the idea that I will be able to get my my siding all the way back to here, you know, when I finish the cabin. So it's going to look much nicer. So here is the only drawback of doing this. A sheet is 8 foot long. So if I wasn't doing that, then the sheet will go all the way to the top of the wall. And I would only need to use one piece and I would be done. So much easier. But because I want to do that overlap, I'm going to have to lower it. And so then I'm going to have to infill that with more you know, more sheathing. We need 22 inches sticking out. Oh, it's too much. So there are a few things we need to think about before laying down those sheathing. But I'm gonna have to cut this one short a little bit so that it breaks over the stud, because just like we did with the front sheathing, this sheathing needs to break exactly at the stud, and I need to add blocking here. And the reason for that is that this sheathing allows the wall to resist wind forces. So if the wind blows against the front of the house, the two side walls are gonna get engaged, and they're gonna resist that force and transfer it back to the rim band and then to the foundation. I know I'm gonna mark up this because that is where I'm gonna have to add blocking here so that I can continuously nail the sheathing. I'm actually gonna move this out of the way for now, and all I have to do is I'm gonna measure here. What is that? 73 7/8. So the next step now is going to be to measure the spacing here at each opening, which again, between the common studs should be fairly constant, hopefully. So you obviously want to line it up with the metal here because we'll have sheathing meeting at this joint. And we're just going to keep going this way. So here it is. You can see all my blocking is in place all the way along, nothing at the opening obviously, and then finished up here with those 2 pieces. So now we're ready to start installing those big pieces of wall sheathing. So let's do that. So if you're still looking to get access to the cabin drawing, you just simply have to go to my channel page and you will see there will be a link right there. You just click it, it's going to take you to a really simple web page. You'll enter your information and you will get this sent to you by PDF directly to your email. And yes, it's been snowing like crazy. You'll probably see that in the next episode. So I know that the sheet needs to be right here in the middle. So for this wall sheathing, here's the nailing pattern. We're gonna, on all the edges, we're gonna nail it at 4 inches on center and 12 inches in the middle, meaning here along this stud and along this one, we'll do 12 inches on center. And for this job, we're gonna use 2 3/4 inch nails because we don't need 3 1/4 inch framing nail. We're gonna use much shorter nails because that's all we need. Let's give it a shot. So those are the framing nails we've been using so far. And this is what I'm using for attaching the sheathing. Go ahead and load this up. We're definitely gonna need a lot. For now, I just want to kind of lock it up. So I'm just gonna put some at the corners. I don't want it to move anymore. Edge spacing every 4 inches. So 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 44, 48, and you just keep going. You do the same thing along this edge as well, because this counts as an edge. That's why we added the blocking. So 4, 8, 20, 24, 64. Here at the studs, as we said, it is going to be 12 inches on center. So somewhere along here, 12, 36, 5, 6. So I'm sure you're starting to get the idea. So we're doing an edge now. So that's every 4 inches. And this is going much faster than the screws on the subflanc. So that's kind of nice. Just as we did with the flanc sheathing, we're gonna have to leave a gap here in between the sheets. Again, 1/8 of an inch. It's actually written on the sheet itself. So just like we did previously, it's always a good tip to use some AD nails to use as spacers because they're exactly 1/8 of an inch. So I'm just gonna tap a few in place. Perfect. So then you can kind of butt it against those now. Now I'm just not going to show you again, but it's just the same thing. Nailing the whole thing up. I'm going to have to add some blocking here. Didn't think about that. Because my next sheet is going to break here randomly, I decided I would just add another piece of blocking. Then the question is, do I measure and cut the window opening now, or do you do it after the fact? That I don't know. So I decided that I was gonna cut the opening right now. So if you get the idea, I'm cutting this off because that's the start of the window opening. So I was thinking I might put this one first, so then I can do the same thing and cut the opening, and then I'll just fill a little piece here. Because if I put a full piece here, then I'm gonna have to cut 2 openings, which is gonna be fairly awkward, I think. now I'm gonna go ahead and measure what I need to really kind of fill this up. And then I'll have just one separate piece here at the stud. Okay, that's 53 and a quarter, 27 and a quarter. So I went ahead and cut just like a small piece here so that it will match the same height here, leaving a gap here obviously. So I'm still not 100% sure how I'm gonna nail against the window, because I'm worried that if I put nails here at 4 inches on center, once I place the window, I'm gonna have problems attaching the flange. So for now, I'm gonna leave the sides unnailed until I get to the point where I have to install the window, and then I'll decide, because I don't want to make a mistake now. I went ahead and cut a piece here, which is gonna fit nicely here. As you can see, I'm still gonna have to do a cut. So the edges here to here. And then I have to calculate the depth of that cut, which should match what's going on here. Oh, look at this. Look at this. Looks great. Looks amazing. Bam, bam, bam. We're just gonna have it against here. That looks pretty good. We're almost there. That's the final piece that I just cut. Oh la la, nice. Woo, whoa, whoa, whoa. There you have it, a fully sheathed wall, you know, meeting all the code requirement of nail spacing and all that stuff that I went through. So here's a quick tip for you. Definitely advise you to buy a really good quality top to protect, you know, your construction project. So usually the flange sheathing is okay to withstand some rain and some weather related event, but because I'm so slow at building this, because it's just me, I would not want the subflange or any of the walls to be exposed to like a long period of rain, because I think it could really damage them. So get yourself a really good top. I had bought a cheap one from Harbor Freight originally, which was only 5 mil thick, and it was really lame. The moisture would go right through it, so I just ordered this one, which is 14 mil. It was pretty expensive, but at least I feel pretty comfortable that it's fully waterproof and it's going to protect all the flange sheathing, and you know, for however long it takes me to like get the walls up and get it all dried up.